Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome back once again for another episode of the Summer Spotlight 2020. I am your host, Gayle Nicholson. Thank you once again for joining me. I am so happy to see you out there. Please say something to let me know that you're out there. Maybe drop some likes, maybe drop some hearts. This is going to be a very special episode of the Summer Spotlight because we are finally getting to talk to Miss Shiho Miranda. She is a Reiki Master and is part of the group of friends over there at True North Reikiville. And I am so happy to finally have the chance to sit down with you and talk to you about the new class that you've got coming up. How are you doing today, Shiho?
Doing great, Gail. Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful, wonderful place. I feel really excited because now name is changed to Summer. Yeah, it feels super.
That must be it. That must be it. As to why
Yeah,
all of the delays and stuff.
right.
We were waiting. You were waiting to come on when we're all focused on opening and getting into the light and all of the
Right,
wonderful
right,
things that go along
right.
with Reiki energy and
Mm,
aromatherapy and all of the things that you do.
mm.
I want to start out talking a little bit about your background, if you don't mind. I know that you were born in Japan, and you
Right.
came over here at a young age. Tell us what it was like going through that and growing up in another country.
Okay. So yeah, I came to the States, I think I was 31, 32 around that time.
Uh-huh.
I grew up in a very small island called Tsushima. It's close to Korea. So it's west north of all the long island of whole Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a tail end when it's going closer to Korea. So
Oh,
the ocean is like very dark, dark navy blue color because
okay.
our island is made by rocks, very rocky mountain island.
Okay.
So where I grew up, there's a mountain, a hill, and then it goes straight into ocean.
Is it
That's
very,
where
very
I
deep around the.
very deep. All of a sudden, it gets deep. So the ocean's color is very deep too, and it's not the sandy beach. Most of the beach there, so it's rocks. So
Mm-hmm.
like all those round river rocks,
Mm-hmm.
just dance with the water. That's the
Nice.
sound that I grew up with, hearing that, and yeah, that was a very special place because people just living slow,
Mm-hmm.
so the time feels different.
Okay.
But when I was there, I didn't know that was a normal for me.
Right.
You know, the fish was so good, but I didn't know that was so special. And at the 18 years old, I went to the college.
Mm-hmm.
There was no college up to only high school. So there was no choice for me when I wanted to go higher.
Mm-hmm.
So I got off the island and then it hit me. I realized what I had that I didn't know that was precious.
Yeah.
So I started to look back what a treasure I had as my root. So I started to really, really look into what I grew up. So in my 4 years of university time, I researched about the original old ancient religion people had.
Okay.
It's about believing in the sun and all the nature giving us the power.
Mm-hmm.
So the shrine is worshiping the nature itself. No building, no statue, no idol. It's the rock sometimes, it's a mountain sometimes. So you see the Torii gate, the red gates that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you see at the signature uh, sightseeing spot in Japan. Some of them standing inside the ocean because we just respect the water element
Interesting.
and ocean and all the connection to the nature. That's what I was researching.
Interesting. So that does that connect with Reiki, or is that just is it
I
a
think
separate religion? Does it incorporate? How does that work?
so. Yeah, so that was how I grew up with, and I started to look at it from some distance after I left that place.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was always interested in all kind of spiritual things,
Mm-hmm.
despite of what the society or culture tells me or my parents tells me. They're very open to anything. They didn't put me in a small box, but I still think had my original faith to the source, creator, whatever people calls.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the feeling that I had the straight connection, and I believe everybody has it. And I believe that when I think I was small, I can't even point when that started. It was just natural to me. And then, but at the same time, I was just, as a bookworm, it
Mm-hmm.
was just me and books. It was just my word.
Yeah. Well,
My
that's a
word,
pretty
I
expansive
believed it.
world, depending on what books you're reading.
Yeah, so sometimes I speak about it to other people,
Mm-hmm.
thinking this is what everybody's seeing,
Right.
everybody's thinking, everybody's looking. And I started to realize the many people's reaction was like not understanding what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
And then at some point, maybe I was more close not to show it to other people, more into books and me and books. And I go into that world just by myself, all alone. So I had many years like that. But life brings us to all different places.
So
So
when
at
did you
some point,
start studying Reiki? Was that at the same time
it
or was
was
that after?
no later on. So I
Mm-hmm.
married. I had a child and second child
Mm-hmm.
and a third child around 30. And then we came to the States because my husband is Navy.
Okay.
And then we came to San Diego first. And then I had my fourth child there. And every time we have more children, um, life gets sometimes easier, sometimes gets tougher. But again, I make all kind of friends, mom friends.
Right.
But my spiritual journey was just me and books. I just kept it like incubating. Then not in San Diego, but after 3 years passed in there, and then we came to Virginia. And you know the Edgar Cayce Center is here in Virginia Beach. A
It
lot of people
is.
knows.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly I started to meet people. First of all, that was my neighbor, very bright lady.
Mm-hmm.
Brought this information about Reiki that she's about to take class with her friend, and she told me that's supposed to be from Japan, and I didn't know nothing about it.
That blows my
Nothing,
mind that you didn't know
right?
anything about it.
Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing. Now I looked at some magazine that I had, and it talks about it. But a funny thing is that sometimes when you are not tuning into certain channel,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's right there, you don't see it, you don't hear it, it doesn't catch your eyes. So I think that's what it was. It was not my timing yet. So I started to find out what it was. But first of all, I just trusted this friend.
Mm-hmm.
So more than I researched into what the Reiki was about, I just jumped in to be with what she has been doing, and I just trusted this circle of friends
Mm-hmm.
and what they were doing. It was just the energy that they were carrying that led me to just go with them. So I signed up to take a class with her,
Mm-hmm.
and it was 30 minutes away. I think I met my teacher probably twice before the class. And on the day of the class, I realized, opening up the textbook, and I realized, oh my gosh, I still don't know nothing about Reiki. That's how I jumped in 8 years ago. 8 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
that's
nice.
when my journey started. So I was 38.
My
I think
goodness, you
I
still don't
was
look 23.
lost. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think I was lost the most in my life at the time. The Reiki just seemed like the light to me. was depressed with all kind of homesick and raising children even while my husband is deployed.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning, after we moved, no friends around, trying to make some, new new place to belong to.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
felt I was lost
I
at
was
that
just talking
deeper.
yesterday
Mm-hmm.
with someone who has a podcast on the experience of military spouses. And it really is, I mean, a military wife is just as much a veteran, really, when it comes down to it,
Mm-hmm.
as the deployed Marine or soldier or seaman,
Right.
because they're holding down the fort, whether they're traveling with the
Mm-hmm.
deployed officer or
Mm-hmm.
soldier, Marine,
Mm-hmm.
seaman, um, or not, whether they're having to hold down the fort at home without their partner available. I mean, there's a specific set of challenges that a military spouse faces
Ooh.
that not just anybody does.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about, like, how was that for you, moving to new spaces and getting to know the mom community among the
Right.
military spouses, or the parent community, because in some cases it's mom gone and it's
Mm-hmm.
dad that's holding down the
Right.
fort at home.
Right. Yeah. So I think it could be tougher than the life not being in military or around the military, because you not always have other parents with you to raise your children, and
Mm-hmm.
then family is not around. So I sometimes, looking out the window, the grandparents visiting the little ones. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
feel like, oh, I wish I could have that. So those are the hard moments
Mm-hmm.
that I have. I still have sometimes, but at the same time, the military spouse community is so very special because we are the ones supporting each other and making the environment for the children to grow in the society, community,
Mm-hmm.
to help each other as well. So that's priceless. That is
That's
really
wonderful.
priceless.
That's wonderful. Now, as you got into your Reiki practice and learning about it and stuff like
Mhm.
that, I know that you do actually very similar to what I used to do. And
Okay.
I incorporated my crystal work into my
Mm-hmm.
Reiki practice. And I
Right,
know that
right,
you
right.
do that, and you do that as well with aromatherapy. So how did you start to bring all of that together?
Yeah, it was natural. And so I was a very good student to my teacher, just following how she does it and copy what she does and practiced at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. She put the strict might be not the right word, but the really great structure. So I observed everything that she have done, she have experienced. So she didn't want it to miss out any little thing. So her notes was enormous on top of this much textbook that
Nice.
we purchased. So she
Mm-hmm.
added like this much additional information.
Mm-hmm.
So she passed it all down to me. So as I take the first parts as a beginner and then go a little deeper, and I realized how much that was supporting me, especially mentally for me to get more stronger, more encouraged, and more connected to the inspiration that just come right through me after I started to use Reiki. So I started to feel I can't just hold it only to myself. And when I go to different places, being military wife,
Mm-hmm.
I can introduce my teacher in Virginia if I go somewhere else. So the military life gave the extra courage for me to step up to become a teacher myself. So I can
Nice.
carry the teacher and teaching that she gave me anywhere I go. So that was the military life that put me into,
Mm-hmm.
and after all, it started to work out. And all those tough moment a lot of military families might be going through with the other military wife friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the friends who use oils, especially for animals, but she uses for people and animals.
Uh-huh.
And she was Japanese too. She found me and our group who doing all kind of spiritual events in the local area.
Mm-hmm.
She moved into this area and we met and we started to bloom all this practice together. Naturally, it just bloomed out. Um, when I practice Reiki, teach Reiki, it was just very simple process that I started to add oil, just diffusing at the background.
Mm-hmm.
But this time in this new class that I'm developing right now, I'm gonna go more proactive on using oil before you come into the class. So this is something new to me too.
Mm-hmm.
But as it always worked for me in the way that I use oils to prepare myself for all kind of situation. Like this one called Valor.
Mm-hmm.
This makes me, this helps me to feel more courageous, encouraged, because the name Valor is legendary. The oils the
Mm-hmm.
Roman soldiers were anointing them before they go to battlefield.
Nice.
So the blend was made based on that blend. So I use this before I go to this interview too.
Oh, nice.
So
Very
that's
good.
how, yeah, you prepare yourself or all kind of other oils that specifically blended to support emotional states.
Mm-hmm.
Some are called release. I use that one a lot, like when I feel angry or something tight inside me just comes up, and I use this oil and I feel it just like just
Barriers
drains
down.
out
Yeah.
down. So
Nice.
before the Reiki class, I thought not just me using or using it in a physical place since of all this pandemic happening. I'm not really allowed to meet in the big, gathering.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, why not online? Of course, it'll be nicer to really meet in person with you too. If we can meet, that'll be much
Absolutely.
nicer.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, online makes so much stuff more possible and widespread.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always good and bad in everything.
Yep.
Since I can diffuse my oil in my classroom, I decided, okay, I'm gonna send these sample oils with the textbooks so everybody can prepare yourself and then release. That'll be great. And then grounding, there's an oil called grounding. You can go outside and put your feet in the earth too. But
Nice.
grounding, if you're working, you might still get to plug into this frequency to connect with the Mother Earth and feel grounded so you don't feel conflicted or confused or, you know,
I love it.
feeling like going all over.
Mm-hmm.
And then prepare yourself and come to the class. And I have few more oils that I want my students to use in certain moments to support to be in a specific states quicker.
Mm-hmm.
We all have this ability to connect to the specific frequency, specific emotion.
Mm-hmm.
We all can control, but if the oil can help, why not use it? That's what I thought. So I made up
Absolutely.
the whole package,
Uh-huh.
this textbook, and all my additional notes and oils, so I can send it to all the people who sign up prior to the class, so you can prepare, and we can do probably more in the class where we
Awesome.
can speed up the process since
Now,
everything's just going so fast in the world.
that is
So
true. God, this
yeah.
month flew by, didn't
Hmm.
it? Um,
It did.
um, so how can people reach out to you to get enrolled? Well, first of all, let me before I ask that
Huh.
question, Who is
Mm.
this class for? Do you already have to have taken Reiki 1 or Reiki 2? Is this
No,
like an advanced course just adding oils, or is this a basic Reiki course with aromatherapy as well?
right, right. So
Okay,
it's a basic to, let's say, basic to semi basic, I would say.
good. Okay.
But many people nowadays take not only Reiki 1,
Mhm.
but up to Reiki 1 and 2
Mhm.
together.
Right.
It's possible in the style that I was taught. So that's what I'm offering this time.
Okay.
Yes, so it can be refresher for the people who has been already doing Reiki, because
Okay.
you can be attuned from multiple people. They don't have to be your teacher who taught you how to do it. Whoever learned how to attune other people
Mhm.
can give as much attunement to anyone. So that maybe attunement is, maybe we need some explanation what attunement is
Yeah, that's
about
a very good
as well.
idea.
Okay,
Go right ahead.
right. I love the moment to be into the attunement. It's like a sacred place that we create together, and Reiki is not transferring. Reiki is not something that I heal something in you for you, but I'm just the hand, borrowing my hand around you for
Mhm.
you to become your own channeler of the light that everybody, anyone who's been living and breathing have ability to. That's
Mhm.
what the original Reiki Master Usui Sensei said. This is the quote that I use all the time. Anyone, anyone can use Reiki. We
Yeah.
just don't know what we have.
Right.
We just forgotten how to use. So my other practice that I have been doing is living in a heart. That's also about connecting to your heart space.
Right.
Anybody has heart. Even if you lose arms, we still have hearts as long as we're still breathing in this physical level.
Mhm.
So anybody has access to this heart space, and we're just looking for it. So my attunement, I mean everybody's attunement in Reiki class is about just helping for
Mhm.
you to become your own channeler of the light.
That's a beautiful philosophy. I like that. I like that a lot. Tell me, speaking of philosophy, before we actually
Yes.
get to how people can sign up for this, um,
Okay.
tell me about your beliefs in reincarnation.
Oh yes. I thought that was normal thought when I was, hmm, maybe let's say middle school, high school. I was so into studying about Buddhism,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I opened one of the textbook that came from high school, and I saw esoteric teaching that was happening in the temple, and then some um, Buddhism monks wearing like a bright orange or purple gown
Mm-hmm.
and doing some ritual with a gold stick in their hand. And I felt like the thunder went through me.
Okay.
I can't explain how, but I felt like I'm some way related to it.
Okay.
And there was another moment. Did you watch the movie 7 Years in Tibet? Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I have.
That movie. I think that was the beginning. They show Tibet and Lhasa, their palace,
Okay.
and they blow the low tone horn
Mm-hmm.
that sounds like didgeridoo from
Yeah.
Australia. That low sound. When I heard that sound, like all my cell, all around my body was shaking,
Wow.
feeling like I know something about it. I felt like I belonged there. I have more than few, what do you call, like a flashback type of memory
Mm-hmm.
like that in many different places. And when I met the Mayan teacher, Aztec teacher, after I came to Virginia Beach, I started to meet so many people from so many different backgrounds, the Native American people and the people who coming from South America to bring the message of peace. When I met those people, especially the one who were teaching us the way the Aztec people interpreted the, the flow of time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I met him, when he showed how to read those times in his book, so we did that like a small study club.
Okay.
And he was my soul brother, and many of us were. It's just the knowing that comes to the heart. So this is a place everybody holds a memory.
Mm-hmm.
And if you heard some people who has uh, donated somebody else's heart
Yeah.
when their own's not really functioning well,
Mm-hmm.
and started to have this previous owner of the heart memory still resides in the new body.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I study from Heart Master, that's a institute in San Francisco area, I did their workshop a little bit too. What they studying and researching is about the heart in scientifically and spiritually from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And they're finding the heart has a brain, almost brain-like cells in it that has a specific function before the heart give a signal to the brain. We're just too busy in this world lately
Mm-hmm.
and worry
Yeah.
about so many things because this is the um, we have both hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
This is the world to
Right.
take care of our body to sustain and survive in this physical world. What I'm practicing is actually physically going down from the brain to the heart space and connect to your true self. That's how you start to remember all of your memory, your library of all the
Mm-hmm.
lifetimes from this earth, or could be from other planet, or without any form, just floating and watching over other beings doing
Interesting.
their activities. I just had this feeling, I can't explain, but I have a lot of places that I can feel connection
Mm-hmm.
to.
That makes a lot of sense. I
Mhm,
remember reading one story one time about a young boy who received a heart transplant
mhm,
and kept
mm,
having
mm, mm,
nightmares about how the prior person that had that heart had been murdered. And he was actually instrumental in solving the murder case for the person who,
mm,
because of those dreams. Now, I can't
mhm,
begin to explain how that happens. Just it's enough to have the space that yeah, it does, it can, and that our gut has its own intelligence. Our heart
right.
has its own intelligence as much as our mind does. We just don't
Mhm,
use it the same way.
mhm,
Um, and so, yeah, there's a lot of interesting information there. Now, I know just before we started the show today, you had to
mhm,
change your date for this class that you're promoting.
mhm.
It was going to be on the
Oh,
11th or 12th. I know that it shifted off to the 25th and
right.
26th, but the 26th is a very important date when we look at time,
Mhm.
isn't it? What's going
According
on
to,
the
according
26th?
to what I practice. Okay. Let
Mm-hmm.
me show you. I think I can help it better by showing my calendar. This calendar was established by Jose Arguelles, who passed on 2012, but he taught so many people. So
Very
this is a
nice.
calendar I use.
Uh huh.
And this day, July 25th is called Day Out of Time because it's going to be all day if I explain all this, but let me just put some important part into this interview. So this is the calendar right now.
Okay.
It's hard to see, but it
Mm-hmm.
has 4 weeks, 4 sets of 7 days,
Mm-hmm.
just like we use in the Gregorian calendar.
Right.
But in the Mayan culture, they follow 7 day cycle. And the 4 day cycle just keep going on and on and on. And seven. And then 13 day cycle. That's very important in their ritual and how they plan things and see what's going on within that 13 days rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 sets of 7 days. The 7 days makes 28, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that is one moon, almost same as moon cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not how we look at the moon, but how we loaded in with each other. So there's no little bit of adjustment like we look at the moon and which day is the full moon and which day is the new moon. But it's almost the same as how we see the moon's shape from here, but
Okay.
it's mechanically ingrained into this kind of like more newer style of the way to read the Mayan calendar. So Jose Arguelles put today's people who living in the Gregorian calendar almost everybody use
Mm-hmm.
into this calendar as well. So we can put both days side by side in my calendar and plan things out. So
Mm-hmm.
the reason that I had to move the class was due to our military family situation. There's some change happened. So there was no choice for me to hold the class on the first 2 dates that I picked out specifically based on the tones each day were giving out
Mm-hmm.
and the dates that I could do that class closer to the original dates happened to be this day out of time that happened before the Mayan people's New Year, which is July, month of 7 and 26 every year
Okay. So
on that day. Hmm.
essentially,
Hmm.
the military caused you to have to shift your date to what's essentially the Mayan New Year's Eve and New
Hmm.
Year's Day.
That's how I felt.
That's
So the
interesting.
decision
Uh
I
huh.
made was this morning. I felt more confused. What I do, I have to change something. But I always believe every change must be for the better. When
Mm-hmm.
I look at it that way, through that lens, something better will come. That's how I believe. So I looked at my calendar one more time. Sorry, excuse me. And I guess it was meant to be even better timing. So
Yes.
we're not supposed to do something too busy on this day out of time because that day was set by Jose Arguelles' idea to celebrate peace and all the human beings come together for peace and forget everything that happened in this previous year just passed. And then we prepare with the forgiveness. We pray together. We be in a circle together wherever you are and prepare for the day, which is seventh month and 26. That day in their culture,
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot of pyramid, right? And
Yeah.
then they built this pyramid to see the Sirius and its two other stars will rise right on top of the pyramid all
Nice.
together.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew that would be the special day for us to start the new cycle because Gregorian calendar's new year came after.
Yeah. Yeah.
This new
Absolutely.
year that I believe was there already on this planet. And
Agreed.
I decided to just switch my mind, just dismantle my old belief and started to use a new calendar. But I still see the Gregorian calendar state in it.
Oh
So I
yeah.
can see what's happening along with everybody else.
Awesome.
But
Awesome
the
stuff.
big,
Well, we've got a
mhm,
couple of Michelles watching us. And Michelle Mascal says that sounds like perfect timing now. There's
mhm.
just, no way around that. Absolutely. Um,
Yeah, she the one brought me into the world of Reiki. She lived
awesome.
next to me.
That's
She
awesome.
decided to take class first.
Very cool. All right, so let's talk real quickly about exactly how
Mm.
you want people to reach out to you in order to enroll in this class.
Okay,
Um,
so I'm I'm in the process of dismantling and rebuilding a new website.
mm-hmm.
So you can find True North Reikiville on Instagram or just my name, Shiho Miranda, on the Facebook.
Okay.
And I just keep posting my information about the class. So that will be the best places.
Excellent.
And I'm asking some loving donation for my classes so you can receive all the materials. And I can take up to 9 people, that's max. And
Awesome.
I do this attunement, not as a mass attunement, but individually to one person by one person, just like you are sitting right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I want that to be close knitted group. And so this registration can be recognized when the donation will be sent to my PayPal me, Shiho
Mm-hmm.
Miranda.
Okay.
But before that, of course, you can ask all kind of questions. You can private message me through Facebook if you're using Facebook, or you can share my email address, right,
Yes, I have your
through you.
email address in
Right,
the scrolling ticker going across the bottom, and it will
right,
also be included in the description
right.
as well.
Yeah, so anybody can email me, contact me, and find out how I'm gonna carry out the class. And if you decide to do it, and then PayPal me, Shiho Miranda, and I'm doing drawing. Maybe you should ask.
Yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
no, this is great. I love this
Okay.
because of
Okay.
everyone who enrolls in this class. Shiho's going
Hmm.
to put your name into a drawing, and one person will receive a hard copy of Living in the Heart from Dunvala Miselziak. Or Misel.
Melchizedek. I know it's
Yes.
complicated name.
Yeah.
I think it's a Hebrew
I
Hebrew
believe it is
name,
Hebrew. I'm just
right?
horrible. I butcher languages so badly. It's embarrassing.
Don't worry.
So that and a little vial of awaken oil, right?
You-
Yep,
yeah.
the
How
awaken
how
oil.
nice this name is, Awaken.
Yes,
Just by holding this bottle, it just vibrates in my hand with
nice,
me. Yeah. So
awesome.
this is
So,
the book that I practice how to physically go into the heart space. We do this trip here and up and down
hmm
and go back to the brain and do take care of all the physical thing in normal life. Whenever you want to connect to your own heart, you just come down to your own space to connect all the um, other lifetime that you spent, or angels, source, ancestors, whoever you want to connect to, Mother Earth, Father
hmm
God, Father Sky. It's all in here. We just have to remember how to connect to that place. I learned it from this book through my Reiki teacher. She told me
that's awesome, awesome.
that.
We have
Yep.
another hello from Darlene Stinestra Steer. She says
Ah,
she misses you, her dear
darling.
Shiho. That's so sweet.
She was my Native American mother. She told me so much, so
That's so
much.
wonderful.
Pastor,
Awesome.
so much stuff to me.
Now, do you have any final thoughts for our audience before we close up and
Oh,
start a new week here in Facebook world?
yeah. To be honest, I really didn't know how exactly you found me at the beginning, but that's the magic of the social media.
Yes.
Sometimes it can be annoying for some people, or to me too sometimes, but I just embrace it because We don't have to travel. We can connect to so many people, so many places just by looking at the picture. You can feel like you are there. And families in distance can meet in these online platforms. We just embrace it instead of, you know, thinking, oh, we don't get to do this and that in person. So this is really great opportunity, Gail, that you're giving to all of us. So thank you for finding me, and wish more people will find Gail, and Gail find more people to connect this, web of community larger until it just, cover all the planet, all over. So social media is great. We can use it in good course.
Awesome.
So happy summer, and yeah, thank you for coming here to find us today.
Thank you so much, Shiho. You have a fantastic week. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
When you open yourself to energy, recovery progresses so much faster. That recovery is possible. You do not have to live as a victim until your last days. You have unbelievable strength, and I know that because you're still here. Do you want to create something completely unrecognizable with your life? I can show you how.